Hello everyone, this is MC Deck Discussions, and today I have another demonstration of a deck. And today we have Monica Rambeau, also known as Spectrum, and going up against Expert Ebony Maw. And so let's go ahead and give a quick overview of Spectrum, and then I'll go ahead and show you her deck. So if there are some of you, if you really are familiar with Spectrum, you might skip some of this. And then if you're familiar with Ebony Maw, I'm going to also explain the setup of Ebony Maw, but that might be something else somebody would skip if they're already really familiar with Ebony Maw. All right, I'll have timestamps per usual. Okay, so we have Spectrum here. Let's go to the alter ego side first. So 3 recovery, and you have this setup, put all 3 energy form upgrades into play face down. So here they are, Gamma, Photon, and Pulsar. And they're supposed to start face down. I'll do that soon. And we have this power down, force response. After you change to this form, turn all your energy form upgrades upside down. So when we go to the hero side, she only has 1/1/1 for her thwart, attack, and defense. And she has a forced response, though, that after you change to this form, so the hero form, choose a face down energy form upgrade, and they flip that card face up to change to that energy form. So if she chooses Gamma, she gets +2 to her attack. Photon, she gets +2 to her thwart. And Pulsar, she gets +2 to her defense. In addition, when she turns to that, she has this hero response. After you change to this form, deal 1 damage to an enemy. That's for the attacking one. For the thwarting one, it removes 1 threat from a scheme. And for the defensive one, it'll heal Spectrum 1 damage. All right, so there's the beginnings there. Let me flip her back over and go ahead and put these face down. Let me go ahead and now give you an overview of the deck. Oh, and let me quickly mention, I'll have the deck linked in the description, as well as the 2 tutorial videos on how to use DragnCards, which I'm using for this demonstration. Now let's go to the deck. All right, so the deck is called Leave 'em Black and Blue, which is meant to reference that we have Black Panther in here, as well as Blue Marvel, but also we'll be focusing on Giant Man quite a bit in order to do some large attacking against the enemies. But we have others too, like Squirrel Girl, who does damage when she first comes out. But the other allies would include Ant-Man, already mentioned Black Panther, Giant Man. I'm just mentioning the ones added to here. Hope Summers, Kalu, Professor X, Squirrel Girl, and White Tiger. And all of these, except for Professor X, are Avengers, which is very important because we have Mighty Avengers in here. And so in addition, except for Professor X and Hope Summers, but when we're on the hero side, or I should say Hope Summers gains each trait of your identity. And when we're on the hero side, then Spectrum would be an Ariel and an Avenger. So she would gain that Avenger trait as well. So that other than when Professor X is out, and other than when as long as we're on the hero side anyway, Mighty Avengers will always be in effect, giving all of our allies +1 thwart and +1 attack. Okay? In addition, we have Face the Past, 1 copy of Make the Call, 3 copies of Suit Up, which is meant to mostly target a Giant Man, and then it can target others as needed to help build out Giant Man more, but also, as necessary for any of the others. We have Professor X in here, so we can go down to alter ego side regularly, and that's meant to be partly so that we have more control over Spectrum's energy form upgrades and which one we're in. But we also have Speed of Light that can help with that as well. Sometimes we can hold on to Speed of Light, and I want to thank Big Darsh on Discord for my suggestion that sometimes you might want to hold on to Speed of Light for a round in order to wait for the next round so that you can, in fact, get Spectrum into the energy form that you want her in, in that following round. All right, and then we have 2 player side schemes, Build Support and Call for Backup. Call for Backup is, again, primarily meant to bring out Giant Man, and then Build Support for Quinn Carrier or Mighty Avengers, whichever is determined at the time. We have the 3 double resources. For our upgrades, we have Deft Focus, which is meant to help with the superpowers. It's not going to help with Speed of Light, which costs 0, but the other 9, so these 3, these 3, these 3, those are all superpowers that can, well, actually, that's not really true. I'm sorry. This is a defensive usage, and Def Focus is a hero action, so it can't be used when we're on defense. So it helps with these 6, so Gamma Blast and Photon Speed. But in addition, it can help get out energy duplication which costs 2. And notice it is a superpower, but these are resource generators. And so getting those out more cheaply can be handy as well. So Def Focus has those extra uses. We also have these upgrades that are meant to go on Giant Man. So we've got Inspired, Reinforced Suit, and Sky Cycle. And then we also have Soaring Acrobatics, which is meant to help out for Spectrum. But we do have, a couple of other characters that might also use it, because this helps out an aerial character. You can exhaust it, and it'll give +1 to the power that's being used at the time. All right, so there's the overview of the deck. If you haven't seen it already, I will also have, by the time this video is out, I will also have my deck discussion on this deck. So you'd be able to see more details about this deck. All right, let's go over to the game now. Or I should say demonstration. It won't be a whole game. So again, we're going against Ebony Maw, right? 2 scheme, 2 attack, expert mode. So we're in the second of his identities, I guess you could call it. I don't know what it's called right now. He has this Force Interrupt. When Ebony Maw activates against you, remove an invocation counter from each spell card in your play area. And you'll see that we already have a couple in our play area to begin with in this case. When revealed, each player discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until they discard a spell card and puts that card into play in their play area. So that discarding, you can see some cards discarded over here. Right, we have some cards discarded over here in the discard pile. And so it must have been that we must have had one of these put into here. And then we also have this, right, our setup. Flip over to the other side. And when revealed, each player discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until a spell environment is discarded and puts it into play in their play area. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Okay? So I'm assuming that this occurred first, and then we had Ebony Maw. And so that's why we have 2 of these out and still have cards in the discard pile. So that stuff happened automatically. I didn't have to do that. DragnCards did that for me. I'm actually not positive about the order. I should look that up, because it could make a difference as to whether this gets shuffled in. Do you reveal this for? I usually don't have to worry about this in the games I play. Do you reveal this first, or do you reveal Ebony Maw first? I actually thought you. So I think this is in the right order, but somebody can let me know for sure in the discussion in the comments section. That'd be awesome. All right, so let's get started. So what I'm going to show here, let's drop our hand. Okay. So what I'm going to show here is the first round, or at least my attack. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. And then later on, after we're built out, to show what this deck can in fact do. All right, let's get started. So to begin with, we do have Suit Up, so 2 Suit Ups, so that's interesting. Gamma Blast, Quinn Carrier, Black Panther, and a copy of Energy Duplication. All right, so that's a tough set of cards to start with, actually, because I want like just about all these cards. So let's see what we can do. Oh, one thing I forgot to do is put the invocation counters on here. So this one enters with 2 invocation counters. And this one enters with 3 invocation counters. And as was mentioned earlier, right, so when Ebony Maw activates, so attacks or schemes, we will remove an invocation counter from each spell card in play. And you'll notice there are some pretty bad consequences when that occurs once these are emptied of their invocation counters. Okay. All right, so let's get started. All right, so I'm going to, so by the way, I have a tendency not to mulligan, and I'm not going to in this case either. I can see why people do it, but I tend not to. All right, so let's go ahead and discard Quinn Carrier and 1 copy, or no, let's get rid of Gamma Blast, and we're going to get Energy Duplication out. And then I'm going to go ahead and use one of these Suit Ups, so I'm going to spend these 2 cards here and play Suit Up. And then we can search our deck and discard pile for an ally and an upgrade that can be attached to that ally, and we'll add them to our hand. So let's go ahead and find that. Okay, so this doesn't really set anything up right now, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and go for some little bit of offense right now. And so I'm going to grab Ant-Man as the hero. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab, let's see, which one do I want for the upgrade? Oh, here, let's look up at our upgrades. Boom. Okay, So we got Sky Cycle and Inspired. Yeah, I'm going to grab Sky Cycle here. All right, so let's shuffle that back up. All right, then we're going to flip over to the hero side. And we're going to go on the offensive right away. So we're going to go for a Gamma Form, giving us +2 to the attack, and we can deal 1 damage to an enemy, bringing Ebony Maw down from 18 down to 17. Then we're going to attack for this additional 2 attacks, so 3 damage, bring him down to 14. Okay. And then I'm going to use Energy Duplication as a resource and Sky Cycle to get Ant-Man out, giving him 2 activation counters. And then, so he has 2 hit points on him now. And then we'll go ahead and attack, take 1 consequential damage, and do 2 damage to Ebony Maw, bring him down to 12. All right, let's ready up and draw our hand size. And then let's go ahead and get Ebony Maw. His turn, yeah, we'll show his turn. So we'll add 1 here. And he's going to attack, which is going to decrease each of these by 1. I'm going to put little reminder tokens on here to do that. Okay, so I'm going to use those damage tokens as reminders. Oh, let's get rid of Suit Up. Okay, all right, so he's going to attack for 2. And we're going to go ahead and defend with Ant-Man. Or are we going to take this hit? Actually, I'm just going to take this hit. All right, so he's attacking for 2 plus 0. So we take 2 damage down to 9. All right. Okay, and now let's get his encounter card. Oh, and first let's decrease these by 1 and by 1, and then just get rid of those reminder tokens. Okay, and then let's flip the encounter card. It gains Surge, and then when revealed, exhaust your identity. That's a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. But at least now exhaustion is out of here. Okay. And then now let's get the next card. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. And flip this encounter card. When revealed, remove 1 invocation counter from each spell environment in your play area. And we don't have to read the rest then. Okay. All right, so from each spell environment, okay, so remove 1 from here. And we're going to remove 1 from here. And this one is now at 0. So after the last invocation counter is removed from manipulation, discard it, discard 1 card at random from your hand, and you are confused. Okay, so first let's go ahead and confuse her. Okay, that's what this token is if you can't see it. And then 1 card at random. So we're going to use our random number here. There are 5 cards in hand, so let's type 5, hit enter, and over here we can see a random number of 2. So we get rid of Suit Up. Okay, back to our turn. And like I said, so now I'm just going to pause this recording, and I'll be back later, hopefully, with this more fleshed out and going, maybe finishing off Ebony Maw. All right, see you later. Okay, we're in an interesting position here, so why don't I go ahead and share where the state of things are, and then we'll go ahead and play and see about finishing up the rest of this game. Okay, so right now Ebony Maw is in stage 3, so we defeated stage 2, and in my previous turn, and then he did in fact beat his first round, his first main scheme, so he's on the second main scheme, has 2 threat on it out of 9, and if that gets defeated, then he ends up winning. He has these 3 environments out that are all spells. So they have their invocation counters on them. Let me get rid of this. I already took care of that reminder. Okay. All right. And by the way, later on, I figured out that this is a forced interrupt. So he does take off the invocation counter before he actually makes his attack or he schemes. All right. So that's his side. And over on our side, as you can see, we have quite a bit out here. We do have Soaring Acrobatics out, and we also have Loss of Control, the obligation, which means we cannot change energy forms currently. So we're stuck in this defensive energy form right now. But also we have Mighty Avengers out, giving +1/+1 to all of, and every character we have out is an Avenger. So we have +1/+1 to each of the allies. Giant Man is out, And he currently, he has 2 damage, so he would have 2 life left. However, he has the reinforced suit on, so that's why I have these 2 counters on here to represent that he's actually has 2 extra, so he's up to 4. And then he also has inspired, so he gets +1/+1 to his attack and thwart. So he has the ability right now to attack for 2 plus 2 for his ability, so 4, 5 plus this makes 6. So he can attack for 6 currently. And then we have Kalu out, who would be able to attack for 2. And we have White Tiger out, who could be able to attack for 2. And then in our play area, we have 2 energy duplications, so resource generators, at least on the hero resource generators. And we have Deft Focus. And then you can see in our hand, these are the cards we have. Okay? All right. So what I'm going to do first here is I'm going to go ahead and attack with Spectrum for 1, plus do this for 2. So she can't change forms right now, but she can in fact attack. So right now the villain has full hit points 23. Yes, and it's coming down by 2 down to 21. All right, so I am going to go down to Alter Ego side, and that's going to flip that energy form over to the blank side. All right, and we're going to go ahead and use Suit Up. Hold on. Before we do that, hold on. Let's stay this side. Okay. We might as well take advantage of these here. So let's go ahead and do something. We're going to attack with White Tiger, who's attacking for 2, plus the Mighty Avengers, so attacking for 3. So 21 comes down by 3. 1, 2, 3 comes down to 19. And then so now we can get rid of White Tiger, who just took consequential damage. Ends up in the discard pile down here. All right, good. So now we'll do this and this to go ahead and play Squirrel Girl. Okay, and when Squirrel Girl comes in, she does 1 damage to each enemy. Boom. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and attack with Kalu as well. Okay, so that's going to deal 2 damage because of this card here. So 18 comes down to 16, and getting rid of that one. All right, now let's go ahead and play Suit Up using Blue Marvel and Photon Speed. And so that plays Suit Up. And so now we can grab any card, these from here or from our deck. But I'm going to go ahead and grab, let's go with White Tiger. And then we can also grab from our deck here one of our upgrades, which leaves just Sky Cycle. So shuffle the deck back up. And so we're going to go ahead and play Sky Cycle onto Giant Man. And what Sky Cycle does is attach to an Avenger ally. Attached ally gains aerial, but you can exhaust Sky Cycle and ready the attached ally. So first we're going to attack with Squirrel Girl, taking 1 consequential damage, bring him down from 16 down to 18, 14. Let's see, Giant Man can attack for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're not going to quite be able to finish this. So actually, I changed my mind. Instead of Squirrel Girl doing 2, Squirrel Girl is going to do 2 here to keep this safe. I did already scout out the discard pile. It has 1 advance in it, so we only have to worry about drawing 1 more advance. Okay. All right. Okay, so now Giant Man's going to attack. And like I said, he attacks for 2 plus his ability, 3, 4. Just so you can assure, right? So currently he would have just 2 life, but he has the advanced suit on, so he actually has 4. So he's going to attack, take 1 consequential, and he's going to deal 4 damage, 5 damage, 6 damage, bringing this down to 10. Okay, and then he's going to use Sky Cycle, exhaust Sky Cycle, and ready up. And he's going to attack 1 more time for, that was again 4. By the way, so now he has 3 life remaining. So he's going to attack for 4, 5, 6 more damage down to 4. Okay, and there we go. And he takes another consequential damage. which is now a total of 4, but he has 2 extra life, right? So he can still stay out, but he'll no longer get that bonus to his attack. So let's go ahead and ready up. Oh, flip Spectrum over to do this. There we go. So now we'll go ahead and ready up and draw our hand size. All right, there we go. And we'll go ahead and let Ebony Maw go. So we're going to add 1 threat here. Then Ebony Maw, oh, get rid of Suit Up now. Ebony Maw begins to get out the boost card, begins his turn. So he has his Force Interrupt. Let's remove an invocation counter from here, here, and here. And do the boost card. He gets 2 additional. So 3 scheme plus 2 is 5, bringing this up to 6. There we go. All right, and we could actually lose here. We have 19 cards left. Let's see what we get for the encounter card. Boom, and it's another environment. It gains Surge, and enters play with 4 invocation counters on it. And let's see what the next encounter card is. When revealed, discard an upgrade or support you control. And we will just get rid of Deft Focus. Yeah, we'll just get rid of Deft Focus. Okay. All right, and clearly the game is over. Okay, so we could just quickly finish up here. But I do want you to see the additional damage that we'd be able to do. So now Giant Man no longer gets that +2 bonus, but he does still have Inspired on him, so he can attack for 2, 3, plus Mighty Avengers makes 4. So there you go. He goes ahead and attacks for 4, finishing him off. Okay, which makes 4 damage. I'm just going to keep track of how much damage it ends up being. So that's 4 damage. So I'm just going to leave the 4 up there as a tracker, right? So Ebony Maw is defeated. So then so that does 1 consequential. Okay, and he still has 1 life left. So we're going to use Sky Cycle to ready him. He's going to attack for 4 more damage and therefore be defeated. So now we've done 8 damage, and then Squirrel Girl can attack for 2 more damage because of Mighty Avengers, bringing it up to 10. And then Monica Rambeau will just exhaust and get rid of loss of control. All right, but we can flip over to this side, bring up the gamma radiation here, so it does 1 extra damage just for flipping to that. And then we'll go ahead and spend 1, 2, 3 to play Gamma Blast, and that will deal 1 more, 7 more damage here for a total of 18. Boom. Okay, and then that pretty much does it. Although, yeah, we could get out Ant-Man here, so that's not a bad way to finish off. So we'll let Ant-Man be played. Oh, let's do Speed of Light. We'll flip over to here to heal 1, bring us from 4 to 5, draws us a card. Okay, and then now we'll play Ant-Man. We'll use all 3 of these to play Ant-Man. Okay, so he has 3 counters on him. Oops, wrong button. There we go. He has 3 counters on him now. And he can attack for 2 plus 1 more makes 3. So we had 21 points of damage. All right. So then that was without Spectrum even being able to attack herself. She could have, if she could have attacked, she could do 4 more, but she couldn't. So 21 points of damage on the final turn there. And hopefully you could see a great example of how powerful Giant Man can be in this deck once he's built out, and how Suit Up can really get him built out. So then he can deal 4 damage himself, plus the extra 5, 6 damage. So 6 damage each time. And when he readies up, you can do that twice, so deal 12 damage, and you can do that multiple rounds. Right? So very powerful indeed. And so hope you enjoyed that little demonstration.